On April 29, 2026, the ATF just dropped the most comprehensive deregulation package in the agency's 55-year history. By the end of this video, you will know all the implications and details of this package and what you should do. So let's get into it.
Newly confirmed ATF Director Robert Sakata, backed by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, announced 34 legally binding rule changes under President Trump's Executive Order 14206 titled Protecting Second Amendment Rights. Their exact words: "The Second Amendment is not a second-class right, and we are ending the weaponization of federal authority against law-abiding gun owners." If you've been waiting years for a suppressor, paid $200 tax stamps for pistol braces, or dealt with absurd ATF interpretations, the federal government just made your life dramatically easier. Hit that subscribe button right now, because these 34 changes represent the most significant rollback of ATF regulations since the agency was created. I'm going to break down every major category, show you exactly what changes and when, explain which rules take effect immediately versus which need public comment, and tell you what to do starting today. Here's what just happened. On April 29th, 2026, at a DOJ press conference, ATF Director Robert Sakata, confirmed by the Senate just 3 weeks earlier, unveiled Executive Order 14206's implementation through 34 separate regulatory actions. Acting AG Todd Blanche emphasized this represents a fundamental reset of how ATF interprets the Gun Control Act and National Firearms Act. The changes span NFA items, pistol braces, firearm definitions, Form 4473 requirements, FFL regulations, import rules, and enforcement priorities. Some changes take effect immediately through agency guidance. Others require public notice and comment rulemaking, but are being fast-tracked under emergency procedures. Let me break down who Robert Sakata is and why his appointment matters, what Second Amendment, not second-class right means for policy, the 34 changes by category, implementation timeline, what you should do now, and what gun control groups are planning in response. Number 1, who Robert Sakata is and why this ATF director is different. Sakata's background: former federal prosecutor specializing in violent crime, not regulatory enforcement. 15 years in U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of Texas, prosecuting cartel violence, not paperwork violations. Comes from prosecuting actual criminals, not technical compliance violations. Senate confirmation, nominated by Trump early 2026, confirmed 52-48 on April 8, 2026. Every Republican plus 2 Democrats. During hearings testified, ATF's mission should be stopping violent criminals who misuse firearms, not creating regulatory traps for citizens exercising constitutional rights. Why this matters? Previous ATF directors came from internal ATF ranks or federal bureaucracy. They maximized ATF regulatory authority. Sakata refocuses on violent crime while removing burdens on law-abiding owners. This philosophical difference explains the deregulation package. Acting AG Blanche's role: former Trump defense attorney, oversees DOJ and ATF. His ending weaponization of federal authority. Statement signals top-level commitment. When both ATF Director and Acting AG align on deregulation, changes happen fast. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video, where I reveal the 5 ATF regulations that survived this deregulation package and why gun rights groups are already planning challenges to remove those remaining restrictions. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Number 2, what the Second Amendment is not a second-class right means for ATF policy and why this language matters. This isn't just rhetoric, it's a fundamental shift in regulatory philosophy. The second-class right concept. This phrase comes from District of Columbia versus Heller, 2008, where Justice Scalia wrote, "The Second Amendment is not a second-class right, subject to an entirely different body of rules than the other Bill of Rights guarantees." For 16 years, gun rights advocates argued ATF ignored this principle by creating burdensome regulations that would never be tolerated for First Amendment rights or Fourth Amendment rights. How this changes ATF approach. Under the second-class right framework, ATF's default becomes: if a regulation imposes significant burden on law-abiding gun owners and doesn't directly prevent violent crime, it should be eliminated or streamlined. Example: waiting months for suppressor approval? Suppressors don't make guns more dangerous, they protect hearing. The burden, months of wait, $200 tax, paperwork, doesn't justify the minimal crime prevention benefit. Suppressors rarely used in crime. The weaponization language. Blanche's statement about ending weaponization of federal authority refers to ATF's history of changing interpretations to trap gun owners. Pistol braces were legal for years, then suddenly illegal. Certain builds were legal under one director, illegal under another. Weaponization means using regulatory uncertainty as a tool to discourage gun ownership. The new policy: clear rules, consistent enforcement, no retroactive changes that criminalize previously legal conduct. Practical impact. This philosophy means ATF now asks, does this regulation actually stop criminals or just burden citizens? If the answer is just burden citizens, the regulation gets eliminated or modified. Quick legal note. This is educational information about new ATF policies. This is not legal advice. Firearm laws remain complex and violations carry severe penalties. Always verify current rules and consult attorneys for specific situations. Even under deregulation, some federal laws still apply. Number 3, the 34 changes by category. What actually changed? NFA item deregulation, 8 changes. Suppressor removal from NFA, emergency rulemaking. SBR threshold modified to 12+ inch barrels, down from 16. SBS threshold changed similarly. Electronic Form 4 processing, 30-day maximum, down from 9 to 12 months. Clio signature eliminated. Trust processing same speed as individual. $200 tax removed on Form 1 suppressors. Next replaces separate ATF background check. Pistol brace clarification, 3 changes. All pistol braces legal for pistols under 26 inches with barrels under 16 inches. ATF withdraws 2023 rule declaring braces turn pistols into SBRs. No registration, no tax stamps, no deadlines. Firearm definitions, 5 changes. Frame DOSH receiver returns to traditional understanding. Only serialized component housing action is firearm. 80% lowers not firearms until completed past readily converted. 3D printed guns follow same rules. Serialization only if sold, not personal use. Partial disassembly doesn't create multiple firearms. Form 4473 streamlining, 4 changes. Reduced from 6 pages to 2 pages. Questions limited to federal prohibited categories. Retention, 10 years, down from 20. Electronic 44473 permitted. FFL relief, 6 changes. Inspections once every 3 years, down from annual. Willful violation required for revocation. Home-based FFLs expressly permitted if zoning allows. Digital-only bound books acceptable. Background check retention clarified. Gun show private transfers don't require FFLs. Import and classification, for whatever 4 changes. Sporting purposes, test eliminated. Curio and relic expanded. State-compliant imports no longer need separate ATF approval. Imported frames, receivers, same standard as domestic. Enforcement priorities, 4 changes. Straw purchases and trafficking prioritized over paperwork. Technical violations without intent through caller's warning letters. Statute of limitations strictly enforced. Cooperation on violent crime, not regulatory enforcement. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Join the 50,000 gun owners getting these ATF policy updates first. Subscribe, because when these rules finalize, you need to know immediately what you can and can't do. Number 4, implementation timeline. What takes effect immediately versus what requires rulemaking. Immediate effect. Guidance, no rulemaking. Pistol brace policy. Effective immediately. ATF withdrew the 2023 rule on April 29th. It is legal now. Enforcement priorities, effective immediately. Focus on trafficking, violent crime, deprioritize paperwork. Home-based FFLs, effective immediately if zoning permits. Fast-track rulemaking, 30 to 60-day comment, final 90, 120 days. Suppressor NFA removal, proposed May 2026, 30-day comment. Final July, August 2026. If finalized, buy like any firearm. SBR, SBS definition changes. Proposed May 2026. Final July, August 2026. 12+ inch barrels no longer NFA. Standard rulemaking, longer timeline. Frame receiver definition. Proposed June 2026. 60-day comment. Final late 2026. Import rules. Proposed June 2026. Final late 2026. Form 4473 reduction. Proposed June 2026. Final late 2026. Congressional review. All major rules subject to 60 legislative day review. With a Republican Congress, rules are unlikely to be disapproved. Democrats will challenge in courts. Practically, pistol braces legal now. Suppressors likely legal summer 2026. SBR and SBS summer 2026. Everything else throughout 2026, early 2027. Number 5, what gun owners should do now. If you own pistol brace firearms, legal immediately. No registration, no removal. Keep a copy of April 29th ATF guidance. Check state laws separately. If waiting for suppressor approvals, current Form 4s are processing under old rules, wait times should decrease, 30-day target. If NFA removal finalizes, pending forms will likely be approved immediately or refunded. If you want suppressors, wait until NFA removal finalizes, July, August 2026. Then buy from FFLs like any firearm, NICS check and go. No Form 4, no $200, no months waiting. If you're an FFL, review new compliance guidance. Implement digital bound books. schedule inspections every 3 years, focus on preventing straw purchases, not paperwork perfection. If you build firearms, wait for a frame receiver final rule late 2026. Until then, stay conservative. Serialize personal builds, maintain records. Everyone, monitor ATF website. Submit supportive comments during comment periods. Join gun rights organizations, SAF, FPC, GOA, defending rules in lawsuits. Number 6, what gun control groups are planning in response. Legal challenges. Everytown, Giffords, Brady will sue challenging major rules. Suppressor deregulation, frame, receiver, imports. Arguments. ATF exceeding authority, violating Administrative Procedure Act, endangering safety. Courts will decide if deregulation stays within statutory bounds. Congressional opposition. Democratic senators, representatives, will hold hearings criticizing changes. Expect legislation to reverse specific rules. With a Republican Congress, through at least January 2027, legislation is unlikely to pass. This creates political pressure. State responses. Blue states, CA, NY, NJMD, will tighten state laws, compensating for federal deregulation. Example, if feds remove suppressors from NFA, California might ban suppressor sales statewide. Federal deregulation doesn't override state laws. Media campaigns. Gun control groups will run ads claiming changes endanger safety, enable criminals, increase violence. Countering requires publicizing that deregulation focuses on law-abiding citizens, not criminals. Outcome. 34 changes will be fought in courts, Congress, states, and media. But with the ATF director, acting AG, and president aligned, core changes likely survive. Expect a 2 to 3 year legal battle. Here's the bottom line. On April 29, 2026, ATF Director Robert Sakata announced 34 deregulation changes under Executive Order 14206. Motto: Second Amendment, not second-class right. Changes span NFA items, pistol braces, definitions, Form 4473, FFL rules, imports, and enforcement. Immediate changes. Pistol braces, legal now. Enforcement focuses on violent crime, not paperwork. Home-based FFLs permitted. Summer 2026. Suppressors likely removed from NFA. SBR SBS thresholds lowered to 12 inches. Late 2026. Frame receiver traditional definition restored. 80% lowers clarified. Form 4473 streamlined. Your action: pistol braces, legal now. Wait for summer suppressor deregulation. Monitor ATF website. Submit supportive comments. Join organizations defending rules. Opposition will challenge in courts and states. Expect 2 to 3 years of legal battles. But the fundamental shift is real. Subscribe, because I'm tracking all 34 rules from proposal through finalization and will alert you to court challenges and updates. This is the most significant ATF rollback in agency history. Know your rights. Exercise them. Thanks for watching. Next video reveals the 5 ATF regulations that survived and why gun rights groups are targeting them next.